Welcome to Kdrama Divas, a podcast and community for passionate fans of Korean dramas. Join us as we explore the captivating world of K-dramas, discussing the latest releases, timeless classics, and everything in between. Whether you're a seasoned K-drama addict or just stepping into this addictive realm, get ready to laugh, cry, and fangirl with the Kdrama Divas. Welcome to the Kdrama Divas podcast. We're here today to discuss, what drama are we discussing? Queen of Tears, part how many? 5, 10?
No, it's 4.
Well, this is it
yeah.
third or fourth?
Part 4.
But we're finishing up
Yes, it's the last one.
I know.
several episodes of it, right?
Yes,
14
our
through
last
16.
discussion. My name is Amanda,
I'm Maureen.
And I'm Serena.
and here we are, Queen of Tears. I think Maureen has some
Updates?
drama
Oh.
gossip
Oh.
she wants to share.
Really? Okay. Well, you know how when there's a really popular drama, it's like when the stars really click together, people want them to date in real life.
Of course.
Yes.
And so I've been seeing stuff on these two, and
On the female and male lead of Queen of
yes,
Tears?
Yes. And normally I would say, that's just, someone's wishful thinking. But they did show his personal bodyguard was escorting her through the airport because she had a fan meeting somewhere. I don't know where. But anyway, his bodyguard.
Why would his bodyguard be doing it versus his? I mean,
Or
versus hers. Why didn't...
Well, she had hers too, but his bodyguard was also along.
Oh.
Okay, so help me read into that. Does that mean they were just together?
Well, he sent his bodyguard.
Just so she had one more person protecting her?
He seemed like he was a pretty
Big dude?
well, kind of threatening, maybe,
Yeah.
Intimidating.
And she did have a rough time at the airport too. She did.
Because people are trying to get at her?
Mm-hmm.
They could just be friends, and you're my friend. We've done this amazing, epic love story drama together, and
Yes.
here's my bodyguard.
Yes, they could.
Or it could be, I'm passionately in love with you, just like in the drama.
Because why didn't he need his bodyguard at that moment?
I don't know,
Well,
but
he would sacrifice himself for her.
Right. Wow. Goodness.
Goodness, it's like the crash landing romance. Fast forward to Queen of Tears. That writer has a knack at getting the male lead and female lead to fall in love.
Is it the same writer?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
yes.
Oh,
Mm.
interesting. What other ones has he written? So the male lead from
Queen
Queen...
of Tears has been in another one that this writer has done.
But
But
do
he
you know the
didn't get-
name? Oh, sorry.
I don't remember what it is.
But he didn't get together with that female lead.
No.
Oh, so it doesn't always work that way. Okay. I'm just trying to put all the dots together.
No, and in fact, he didn't with the one he was in It's Okay to Not Be Okay.
But it was a different writer. Okay. Because we were saying that the writer has a
Yeah.
knack, but
Yeah,
that's
right.
not 100% accurate.
It's straight up gossip, yes.
Gossip and speculation.
Somebody's got to bring the fun into it.
Well, we can all hope. We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see in the
See.
coming years
Yeah.
if it's true.
Because it usually takes them a long time to come
Yeah.
out that they're together or dating, right? Or even interested in each other,
Yeah.
right? And neither one of
Very-
them are linked to anybody else?
No.
Okay.
Could be. They're very secretive about it all.
Yes.
Which I think is not a bad thing.
No.
So, other than inquiring minds want to know,
Yeah.
right?
So funny. So fun. Okay, so episode 14 of Queen
Yes.
of Tears. That's where we left off. And episode 14 starts with a flashback, and it's a pretty significant flashback. But wait, I need to
Wait.
bring something up. So we're calling the female lead Hannah, which is great. I don't mind. She might mind. I don't know. But according to Google, so it must be true, adding na at the end of a name just is a sign of affection. So that's not really her name, Hey Na. But you know what? We have affection for her.
Right. So her name is Hayin, but then you add the na, so it's Hayin Na.
Oh,
Right?
yes, but we shorten it to Hey Na
Okay.
because we live in Washington and have not found a great. One day when we have a Korean tutor, we'll be okay.
Right. That's right.
My consultation person needs to do better, but we're working on it. Let's start talking about the flashback. In episode 14, Haina and Hein Woo are on their honeymoon, if you recall. They're walking through this park, but the park's really strange because it's also like a cemetery. And Haina says something like if she dies, she wants to be buried in that cemetery because it's friendly, because all the people are walking around and it's a park. So, as they're walking, she sees an older man who's leaving flowers on a grave.
I remember that kind of.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think she makes a comment about it, but I don't remember exactly what she says.
She says, look at that man. And he turns and looks and he doesn't see any man.
Hmm. And she says something like, it looks like he's there every day taking her flowers.
So I'm trying to remember back to the scene. And was it because she was seeing him years later at her grave putting the flowers down? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to remember all this.
So that moment is super important because
Yeah.
basically it's a vision of what's to come.
Yeah.
Okay.
But nobody knows. Like watching episode 14, you don't know that yet.
Oh, spoiler. Sorry.
I know, but that's okay. Hopefully you've already seen Queen of Tears.
Hopefully.
If not, just forget what we just said.
It just kind of makes me cry.
Oh.
So,
Yes. There's so many sweet and tender moments through this whole thing. I mean, there's a lot of bad things that happen, but it's made up with all the sweet and good things.
yeah.
So that's how episode 14 starts. And then they're all in high spirits and hopeful because there's a surgery. I don't know if we talked about that last time. There's a surgery she can have that will save her life.
Right. But
She doesn't know that it comes at a cost.
right, and that cost is she will more than likely lose all of her memories,
Yes.
and she won't even know who herself is, not alone anybody else around her or
right.
anything that's happened in her life. Which, could you imagine? I mean,
It would be a hard decision to make.
right. But I love, and I don't know if we'll get to this, but I love that when she does it, how she tries to combat that memory loss by writing down any and everything she can think and all the good memories and the people in her life. I mean, I don't know that I would have thought about that, but I think, the way she approached it was great.
Well, she's such a determined person
Right.
throughout the whole drama, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's her personality. Like,
yeah.
I can conquer anything. And so
Right.
she doesn't lose that, even though she doesn't know who she is anymore.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But the male lead, and I think a handful of people know that she's going to lose her memories, like
Right.
her parents maybe,
Her parents, the
or
aunt.
his parents.
Yeah, his parents, the aunt. And I think, is that it?
Discussed it. They just found out.
But they
Okay.
choose not to tell her.
Yes.
So she goes all the way to Germany, and she has no idea that that's going to be the cost of the surgery. They're kind of hoping to spring it on her.
That's
That
right.
she'll just go with it.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
and just like we said, it would be so hard. She just refuses to have it.
Right.
She's not going to have it.
Right. She doesn't want him to be a stranger either.
I think that's the biggest reason
Yeah.
she
Right.
doesn't want to have it. I mean, she has a good relationship with her family now, but she's not so much worried about that.
Right. I mean,
is
it shows the
kind you.
importance of that.
I remember she tells him in a lavender field, and there's something about all those flowers. Like you brought up the flowers. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there is something about those flowers.
Hmm. Like the flower, you mean it symbolizes things to her or means something to her?
I don't know, but there's flowers. I remember episode 1. You're like, the flowers in this drama.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
The whole drama and that
Even in
field of
lavender field.
yeah.
You know?
But if I could remember it, I'm sure it probably was. Oh,
Fun.
no. See, I should not watch anything in between things because then I
It's
get them
too
all
hard.
confused. I
How-
forget
how
one
could
and
you
move
go
on to the
week?
next.
You can be really hard to go a week without watching. I've come to the point in life where I'm always watching something.
Or if I'm not, I'm trying to. How can I finagle this, what I'm doing, so I can get home and watch that?
Heina has refused to have the surgery, and Hein Wu, it's really so sweet. He basically, he's trying to convince her, but he calls the family and says, we need an intervention.
Right.
Right? Basically,
Right.
I don't know if he says that, but that's
Right.
basically what they plan. And
Right.
you'll see there's so many scenes where he's at the church just praying
Right.
because he doesn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I cried a lot.
Oh, me too. It's a
Oh,
given.
Goodness. Yeah.
You're going to cry through this one. I mean, you can't not.
The intervention, I thought it was such a cute scene.
It was.
And I hope you guys remember, but they all had a role. Like, you can be the bad guy.
Right. Right.
You can appeal to her emotions. You can appeal to her logic.
That's right. Yeah. Trying to hit her in any way they could.
Mhm. But it doesn't really work.
No.
None of it works.
And so he tries to make Kana jealous
That's right.
by rolling up his sleeve
Which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
at a coffee shop, and women are looking at him.
And I think women would be looking at him whether his sleeves were
Yeah.
rolled up or not. But apparently rolling up your sleeves is a big thing.
Oh my gosh, she gets so jealous.
Hannah thinks it's a big thing. She was rolling his sleeves down.
Right.
Showing so much skin.
It was
Kind of like in Business Proposal when she took off her jacket and she thought that was such a big thing, you
Yeah,
know? But
showing
yeah,
her
why? Yeah. I wish
So-
things were a little more conservative like that around here.
No. So
Mhm.
he tries that. And then, but do you recall what really makes her go through with it?
Oh, goodness. No, I don't. If you tell me, I will, but
Obviously, you need to watch this.
I
again.
know. I know. I tell you, I'm not good at remembering.
Probably when that accident happened. Well, not quite an accident. It was staged by the
Oh.
evil girlfriend. I wanted
Yeah.
to call her a stepmother.
The chairman's girlfriend
Yes.
tries to have her killed.
And okay.
And
It was shocking.
I agree.
Right.
That's what I think is the turning point. Because, so, I don't remember where.
He was in getting, he was like
Buying candy or a pastry or something.
something.
I was going to say flowers, but I don't think it was.
No, it was, yeah.
And she was supposedly in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And there is this loud explosion.
Right.
And he comes out and he walks around to the street and the car is on fire.
Their car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And he is
Loses it.
frantic. Yes. And he
Yeah.
punches the window really hard. And
Many, many times until
Yeah.
it broke
Yeah.
eventually,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
And he
Oh.
opens the door. She's not in there. And
Right.
she comes walking up, like, what are you doing? What's going on?
Right.
Exactly.
And he's all cut up and bleeding, and he is devastated,
Right.
bawling, like
Right.
hyperventilating, crying.
Right. I couldn't imagine. I mean, after everything they'd gone through and gotten to this point, and then to think that that's how it was going to end, I mean, that kind of would
Mhm.
mentally make
Right.
you lose it a little bit.
And I think so that's what impacted her. She realized he can't handle it. He can't live without me.
Right.
And that's the point where she realizes, okay, I'll have the surgery. But she goes to the church first. Do you remember? She prays and she writes something. I forget what she writes.
Is that the scene where she had asked him what he had written or something, or what he was praying about, and he had written the little thing, you put it on the hook, and then
Yeah.
she comes this time, and as she's leaving, she sees it, or was that earlier that happened? Was it then? Okay.
It was just
Yeah.
so, I mean, it was interesting how they did that, like to have her come full circle to agree to it.
Right.
And I mean, they're just so close finally. It's like finally.
Right.
And the male lead's assuring her, like, you're going to be the first person, or I'm sorry, let me back up. The male lead's assuring her, I'm going to be the first person you see when you wake up.
Right. So it's that imprint in your mind that
Yeah.
of his importance to her.
Yeah.
Right.
And she writes a journal out too.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she's been keeping, maybe you guys know, has she been keeping this journal her whole life, or did she write it just for?
I think it was just for this. That's what I think. With all the important things that she
Yes.
now needs to remember and wants to remember, and yeah.
I just remembered in the book of things she needs to remember, she writes that her brother had a talisman. Or right?
Talisman.
Talisman. I'm like, that's just like a sister, like my brother did that. They get along great. Isn't that funny?
Yes.
She's like, note to
Remember, he is a brother and he acts like a brother.
things are looking up at this point, but this drama doesn't disappoint in
No.
bringing it all down.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Ugh.
So
I hated after that until 16, until episode 16.
Oh, it's so sad.
yes, I agree. I think that was probably harder. I know there were earlier ones that Amanda didn't like, but that was probably, this is probably the hardest part for me to watch. The fact that the evil ex-boyfriend, Mr. Yoon, was he really an ex-boyfriend? I think
Not
he was just
really.
he liked her so much, right? I don't think they ever.
She knew him in college.
Yeah, but I don't think she ever really dated him.
No.
I mean, between him and his mother,
Yeah.
they're just so evil in all of the things that they are doing. I mean, he's doing everything he can to separate the male and female lead. The mother's doing everything she can to separate Mr. Yoon, evil, nasty guy, from the female lead. And it's just, and then you have Grace in there who's jumping back and forth between everybody because all she cares about is who's paying her the highest dollar. Right. And then I don't know where we want to go, but the fact that the male lead ends up in jail.
Yeah.
So
it's awful.
This whole, I agree. These couple of episodes are difficult.
And that's why this drama has been hard for me, because in some ways I really like it.
Yeah.
And it is kind of an epic story.
Right.
But my emotion,
yes.
It's like I'm on this emotional roller coaster for so long.
Right.
And there's not a lot of, I mean, there's some, but it's a lot of low points.
There are.
That's why I think episodes 9 through 13 are my favorite. But it's like, once again.
Right.
And so the male lead's waiting,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets carted away and arrested because he's been framed for murder. And you're like, what?
Right.
It's awful.
Right.
Awful.
Bringing up, and that goes into play. We talked about the last time with the bugs he supposedly planted and the videos, and kind of pulls all that back into it to frame him on this, right?
Yeah, like he's so evil.
Right.
The journal that he's holding gets like left behind, and Mr. Yoon burns it. He's
after reading it.
Yeah,
yes.
After reading it, he's not stupid.
Right.
And I mean, it's such an evil plan and so well thought out.
Right.
To be the first person there. So she wakes up and she sees him.
Right.
And it's like, wow.
But not funny, when she wakes up and sees him, in her heart of hearts, she knows it's not right.
I know.
Which I love.
Yes. Which reminds me of the beginning when Hyun Yu's friend was like, you may not remember, but your heart remembers how to
Mm.
love.
Yeah.
And,
That's right.
your body, your heart remembers. And
Yeah.
so even though
Mhm.
she can't remember in her mind, like her body's remembering. and her
Right.
heart's remembering.
Right.
And I thought that was really cool.
Right. And
Yeah.
even, and you think that, he's taking care of her in the hospital, and you think that she's warming up to him as much as she can, but then you find out that she really isn't. I mean, she really is turned off by this guy.
Mhm.
So,
And I think it all comes together when the family hires that investigator to spy on them.
right.
And it's like, oh, she's not interested. She doesn't want his help. She doesn't. She
Right.
like kind of backs off when he comes close to her,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
that part gave me hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
He's not buying into all of it.
Hope, but then you're trying to figure out how in the world are they going to bring this back around to make it all okay again,
I
Right.
know. I know. And basically, I mean, it happens because she's just so curious about her
Right.
ex,
Right.
which is
Mhm.
part of Mr. Yoon's fault, really, because
Mhm.
I mean, he jumps right into just bad mouthing
Right.
the male lead right away
Mhm.
and paints this picture of Hannah like she's some pathetic loser.
Right. And she knows, I mean, again, it's just her gut. She knows that that's not who she is.
Mhm.
But then he isolates her completely.
Yeah.
And I mean, the things he made up about her family.
Yeah, he's
And about-
abusive.
Yeah. And
He's
even,
not the male lead. He's abusive.
right.
Yes.
Right. And even her assistant or her secretary that whole time, making her look bad. I mean, he just made everybody look bad that was around other than himself. So,
Trying to
red
isolate
flags.
her. Yeah. If there's anyone in your life like this, run.
Right.
Run. It's okay. But yeah, it's so bad. And I like though, because she's just so curious, like, who is the person that cheated on me and
Mm-hmm.
broke my heart and
Right.
divorced me? And she goes to the jail to see him. And you
Right.
can just tell, like, she's so curious.
Right.
And he's so kind to her
Right.
that she's just more curious. And I think, didn't they accuse Mr. Yoon accused the male lead saying he stalked her?
I think
too?
so.
So yeah, he did.
And what's funny is Hannah becomes the stalker.
Right.
Starts stalking the male lead. It's so funny.
Right.
And that's when it turns joyful again. to
Right.
me. Like, it's so funny.
Was there any more bad after that, or was that the road to?
Well, it's like the road to hope.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, at this point, she's living in her old house with Mr. Yoon and
In the family
and
house.
his mother. Yeah, her
Yeah.
family house. He's cleared out her whole room
Right.
because he doesn't want her to remember
Right.
any of the good things.
Right. For her family or anything.
It's so awful.
But the tension between the mom and Mr.
I'm
Yoon.
sure that they're at the family house because her parents are there.
Oh,
Oh no, they're at the cabin
Oh,
where
they're
they
at the
went.
hunting-
Yeah, they're at the hunting lodge. You're right.
the whole time?
Well,
Why did he clear out her room then?
I don't know. I really don't know that. But
At the end, they're at the hunting lodge for sure.
and they might be in a
No, the parents. Oh, wait, no, you're right, maybe.
Because male lead goes to look for her in the woods where the
Yeah.
house is, right?
But that's the hunting lodge at the
Right.
end. So, well, let's back up and talk about how did they finally reunite? Oh, she got the journal.
yeah.
Oh, that's
somebody
right. The
had it start
hotel.
snowing, and so it did not all burn up. The
Right.
journal that
In
was
the
put
in
fire.
Germany.
Right.
and they had said to send everything to her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was it. The girl, the
Somebody
nurse or whatever,
found it and turned it in.
yes,
And then the nurse.
nurse
Yeah.
gave it to her.
Yeah.
So that's really what tied it all together.
That's right. But so this was so irritating. not a bad irritating, but she's at her house, right? And you see that package sitting on the table and Grace is there.
Uh-huh.
And you expect the female lead to pick it up and look at it. But it was like she just left it there and walked off a couple different times.
And I thought Grace is going to steal it.
I did too.
Grace, you never knew what
Right.
team she was on.
Right.
And I was like, no.
Right. Totally.
I just didn't think that she'd ever get the journal back. I
I-
just thought they would destroy it again.
I totally thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she realizes everything Mr. Yoon's been saying is a lie.
Right.
And really, the love of my life is Han Yu.
Right.
And so it's wonderful.
It is.
Except then that's when she gets kidnapped.
Okay. See, I don't remember the order of things, so.
Basically, yeah, kidnapped. And then she has to go along with it because he's lost his mind. Mr.
Right.
Yoon has
Yeah.
flipped his lid. It's bad.
Right.
So she kind of has to play her role like, oh, yeah, I'll marry you. I'll go wherever.
Right.
Because he's ready to go ballistic.
Right. And at this point, has he like told her we're going to move to the States together?
I think so.
Yes.
Has he?
They're at the hunting lodge and they're getting
Okay.
all ready. He's like, I think he's tried to steal his mother's money.
Right.
Well,
The,
I know it's not
the
her money.
stolen,
Yes. yeah.
the slush fund. I know. But it's like so intense. And then
Yeah.
they have this like, shootout in the
Yeah.
woods.
Yeah. Was it a shootout?
Well, it,
Kind of.
only with the police.
Oh, that's right. See, I'm so bad.
Mr. Yoon does have a rifle, right?
Yes. And he tries to shoot Hina.
Well, yes, he does. And the good old male lead steps in front of her again
That's right.
and he gets shot.
That's right.
So sad.
And right before that, he'd also been run over by Mr. Yoon when they were gonna meet, and Hana gets kidnapped, and he's in the street going, "Where was she? I just saw her." And then a bus came by, and
Oh,
And so
yes.
he's-
Now I remember.
yeah, he's
Yes.
looking for her, and
Yes.
then Mr. Yoon's there and runs him over.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he leaves the hospital to go find
Right.
her, and so. He might have internal bleeding and all
That's
that stuff.
right.
He's like hobbling along.
Right.
Manages to rescue her.
Yes.
Didn't laugh. It's funny though. And then he takes a bullet for her. I mean,
Yes.
Yes.
But the police finish.
Oh,
And
yeah.
song off.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about it anymore.
He was so evil the whole
Yes.
time. So evil.
Yeah.
And his mom.
Oh,
Right. Just as bad.
It was a roller coaster. It was a
Mhm.
complete roller coaster. But I mean,
but now that you know that was the way it ended, it's just so much better. You can actually live through those episodes now, you know? That-
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it did have a good resolution. The chairman's evil girlfriend, Mr. Yoon's mother, goes to jail,
Right.
which,
She should have been shot too. Well, she should have.
you know,
She should not have a chance to do this to somebody else.
I know. And then the brother, what's his name? Suchul. Suchul. Remember the brother? I think that's his name. Maybe we're wrong. Who knows? But
We need to back it up, I guess, and talk about them, huh?
well,
Because they went to an amusement park together, the brother and his wife, a moment.
okay.
And the son.
Yeah.
I guess the son is with them too, you know? So anyway, they go to the amusement park and
Was this episode 14? I don't remember.
it could be 15.
We don't remember. Maybe it was
No.
even
But I
before
just-
that.
Was it?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, she leaves him there and he goes into
Yeah.
the place where usually kids go, right? And they're
Like
Their
the,
parents
they're
go to
lost.
the
find
lost and
kids.
found
yes, the lost and found.
for kids.
And it's
Oh, my word. This was so sweet. Oh,
Yeah. Well, I mean, basically, she's being blackmailed, saying, we're going to hurt the family if you don't leave. And
right.
It's just kind of a ridiculous. I mean, it's not really a good reason, but so she buys into it. She doesn't want them hurt. So she's going to leave and take her son again.
Right.
and he Oh, he's devastated.
Right. And his plea to her over the loudspeaker
Yeah.
was another
Oh,
crying moment, right?
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
So she came back to him.
Yes.
And
And-
I just thought that was so sweet.
Well, and as he's saying that, the people around her, she's hearing them talking, saying, "Oh, he must have been a horrible person." And right,
Mhm.
is that this? Is
Yeah,
that this scene?
they're making fun of him.
Yeah, and then she just kind of puts them in their place and
Mhm.
says, he's the most fabulous husband, and I don't know what she said, husband and father and everything, and goes back to him. So, oh, Amanda, see, now you need to
sweet.
see Amanda's face because she's crying. One of
It's
these
so
days, maybe
sweet.
we'll do videos so you can see all of our expressions.
But that's not the end of the manipulation
No.
with her. And I don't know, is it her
baby daddy?
ex-boyfriend? Baby daddy, yeah. It's the baby daddy. He's trying to get her to come back and steal the gold. He wants the gold Buddha,
yeah.
right?
Right.
So at one point, I don't know, does he kidnap her or, I mean, he's like, get in the van. Do you remember that part? We have to talk about this part.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that part. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I mean, they're just in the van. He's holding her against her will and basically says, you're dead. He's going to kill her. And her husband comes up on his little bike. Remember?
Yeah.
At the beginning of the series, he couldn't ride a bike. He would fall off. It was really sad.
But he wanted to learn so he could teach his son,
Right.
which is so sweet.
I know. So he's like pedaling really fast and he ends up like getting into a fight with
Several.
like the baby daddy and
Yes.
his gang.
Yeah.
And he gets beat to a pulp.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this isn't going well. But is it
No.
all part of the plan?
Right.
Because when in his boxing training days leading up to this, he learned how to take a punch.
Right.
And so he got beat up, and then at the very end, he just lets the guy have it. And I think his wife's shocked.
Right.
And it's such a victorious moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He's finally able to take care of his family.
And
Yeah.
protects
And
them.
protect
Because
them.
that's what he always wanted to do.
Right. Right.
So I loved it.
See, the highs are so good in the.
It's are really
They're
good.
so good.
The highs are good. And at the very end, his wife, I forget her name.
I don't
Hi.
know.
I don't remember her name, but I was really shocked because she's like, we need to help the family. She tells Grace, we need to confess to what we've done wrong
Right.
and
Yes.
pay for our crimes.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
what? I just
Yeah.
didn't, that was kind of a twist. I
Right.
didn't see that coming.
No,
So,
but it shows that how much her character changed,
Yes.
how much she grew, and how much she did love him and her son, their son, and the family.
So I was thinking they might have got 2 years. What do you think? 2.5 years, two or 2.5 years in prison?
Didn't it say? Did it not? I thought
I
I
don't know.
thought it alluded or something to so you kind of knew, but I thought it was a couple years. Maybe it was because of how much the son had grown or something. I don't remember.
I
Anyway.
don't recall, but I
It
was,
was.
just
I
like,
think it was a
wow.
year to 2 years. That's
Okay.
what I would guess.
Okay.
We need to talk about the very end of the drama. So at the end, they show that Hana and Hainu are married. They have a daughter. And Hana ends up living a long life. And she dies in,
50 more years.
2074. They show her little, what's it called? Tombstone. I don't really know.
Headstone.
Headstone, tombstone. What's a tombstone?
I have no idea.
I think it's just a
Wild
change.
West.
Yes, it's just changed to make it seem not quite so rugged and like you're in Wyoming.
Oh, some of our listeners are in Wyoming.
Hi,
Do you
Kim.
say
Hi,
tombstone?
Daniel. Hi, Richard.
So yeah, you see her headstone,
Right.
gravestone.
Either way.
Yeah. It still makes me cry, but
Right.
yes, you see it.
Right.
And you realize that it was him putting the flowers.
Right.
There's another picture of an old man, and he's laying flowers on a grave, And it's the same man she saw the years prior
Right.
on their honeymoon,
Right.
which I don't know. It
Right.
didn't really look like him though.
No,
So that was one
I
thing
couldn't
that
figure
bugged
it out.
me.
I just kind of assumed because I couldn't figure it out.
They could have tried to get someone that resembled him semi as an old man. But I mean, a night and day, in my
Right.
opinion.
Right.
It took me for a minute I'm like, who's that?
Right.
So
I did too. I didn't realize it took me a bit to put it all together. And I don't know. I had a hard time with the ending.
me too.
I mean, I know they tried to kind of finish it off, but I don't know. I was not happy with the ending. I wanted something different, I think. Yeah.
I liked how they showed her parent camping,
Oh yes.
and her father was not the chairman. It was his brother,
Right.
which I thought was
Right.
awesome.
Yes.
And it's like they were, I don't know, I feel like they were chained.
Right.
You know?
Totally.
And then all of a sudden, his parents come up.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
To bring them kimchi.
Yes. And they are all really a tight family now at this
Yes.
point. Yes.
And I love the picture that they showed. You know, they took a big family photo, remember? And
Yeah.
it was both sides of the family.
Yeah. But it's just so
Yeah. I liked all of that. I
That was
just didn't
good.
like the ending of
the male lead and
the
female
two of
lead.
them and their kid, you know?
It was too, they didn't show enough.
Right.
We're going to show this picture of this little girl and then show that she died
Right.
50 years later.
Right.
And you're just left with all these unanswered questions. Like,
Right.
when
But you know she lived.
Yeah, she lived, but you're kind of like, when did they get remarried? What happened after the shootout between
Right.
them?
They didn't have to get remarried because she reversed the divorce or whatever.
But I'm sure they had a ceremony because
Right.
she didn't remember it.
Right.
So it's
That's
just
true.
like they could have
They
ended
did
it,
it right away.
but they should have showed it.
But you're making that up. I wanted to see the real thing.
Defending the ending, are you? Are you defending the ending?
I guess I am.
That's okay. We can have difference of opinions.
Yeah.
But I felt disappointed.
It wasn't good closure for me as far as the good part of their life together as they grew older.
We had been through so much.
Yeah.
And we could have used a little more goodness.
Right.
A little more good before
Right.
it ended.
Right.
And I mean, I felt like I had closure with the brother
Yes.
and but
And all the family and everybody
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
Just not them. Yeah.
so that's my big complaint.
I'm with you. Maureen is not happy with us.
No, I mean, I understand, but I think probably from that perspective, I don't know. They probably feel like they covered everything.
Right. And I'm not, naturally, I'm not one that I can't make things up and I want to see it black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think I mean, you're an aspiring writer and you are good at taking something and then filling in all the blanks where I need to see the blanks. You know, I have to see it filled in. So maybe that's the difference is just, I'm not good at that. And you are. So,
I don't know what's
and
wrong
where
with
do you
me.
fall in there?
Somewhere in between, probably.
I just want somebody to tell me the way it is.
Yeah, it was rough for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But all of this being said, Mom, you said it's like your number one drama
Of all time.
Yeah.
Wow. Serena, do you agree? Is it your number one drama?
I mean, I have not seen Boys Over Flowers in a long time, which every time I think about that, it just kind of like, why haven't I? But I mean, there's just so much else going on and so many other ones to watch because we can't talk about Boys Over Flowers forever, you know? We haven't even talked about it yet, but I think just because that will always hold a special part in my heart. But Queen of Tears is if not tied with 1 for different reasons, it's got to probably be number 2.
Wow.
What do you think, Amanda?
I'm the deviant of the group.
Right.
No, I can't say it's my number 1.
Right.
I don't even know if it's in my top 5.
Wow.
I know. That being said, did I like it? Yeah. Did I enjoy it? Yeah. But I think because it was such an emotional experience and there was so much, the evil people were so evil, which is fine. I mean,
they're supposed to be.
They're doing what they're supposed to do.
Right.
But it was just, I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe not enough good moments for me throughout the drama.
Maybe.
I'm not sure if that's why. But I mean, I would probably rate it a 4 out of 5 or a 4.5 out of 5. Maybe 4.5 out of 5. I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
But
I give it 5 stars.
oh, I know.
I would give it 5 too.
I just don't know if I can give it 5.
Yeah.
Because of the
emotional part of it was too much for you.
It might have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've watched other ones and I don't feel as distressed. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know why.
Maybe just it was written so good that it just drew you in more than the others, and that made it harder for you.
Maybe. And then I think maybe that's worth a 5.
Right.
So I don't know. I need to think about. I just can't give an answer yet.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd give it a 5.
Okay.
But maybe after reflection, I might. Because I'll tell you, Crash Landing was hard for me at first.
To watch?
I mean, it was a very emotional ending for me, and I wasn't sure.
Okay.
But now I still feel like it's in my top 3.
Okay.
So.
See, and it's not for me.
Not me either.
Maybe you're either Team Queen of Tears or Team Crash
But
Landing.
it was never one of my tops.
No, it never was.
I know, but maybe the people who don't like it love Queen of Tears.
Maybe it's one or the other.
So that's the question. If you're listening, are you Team Queen of Tears or Team Crash Landing?
Yeah.
We want to hear.
I like Crash Landing, but it's not in my top 5.
No.
I like Queen of Tears, but Crash Landing is in my top 5.
Yeah. And I have a hard time because whatever I'm watching is like, I love, okay, there are a few I don't, and we're going to talk about that one of these podcasts. But I mean, it's high on the list, but it seems like most of the time what I'm watching, I'm just so into it that that's the one I love for the moment. I know?
I agree.
So.
Not me.
Really? I don't believe it.
I'm watching one now that I don't.
Oh, yeah, you're torturing yourself.
Why do you keep watching it?
Oh, because on Netflix said something like, oh, you'll love this one. And it's an old one, too.
They were wrong.
Netflix isn't always right.
I had gone past it so many times.
Yeah.
Because it really wasn't my type. Then I thought, okay, I'll just watch it then. And oh my God.
She has regrets. She was telling me earlier.
Really? But now you kind of feel like you have to finish it just
I'm on the last episode.
And how many episodes were there?
12.
Okay. All right.
But it's, oh my God.
So we don't want to talk about that one.
We'll save it for our episodes
we don't like.
Episodes we don't like.
Well, there you have it.
Well, I think this concludes our discussion unless there's anything else that you guys want to say about Queen of Tears. Well, we're split. This is a split decision about Queen of Tears, but is it worth watching?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I've enjoyed it. And I've enjoyed podcasting over it. It's a good one.
Definitely. Do we have any idea what we're doing next?
Oh, I think the next episode we're going to be releasing is another Miss O. So stay tuned, everyone. Until next time.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Kdrama Divas podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as we did. Before we part ways, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. Connect with us on social media at Kdrama Divas to stay up to date on recent podcasts and to share your thoughts and recommendations.